Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Aaron. I am VP of Enterprise Marketing, and I'm really excited to have a really fun panel here to talk about an announcement that actually went out this week. Primarily, it was around our AI-driven enterprise portfolio, which includes our wired access, our wireless access, and SD-WAN, driven by Mist AI. But this week, we actually announced some very specific and very exciting features around NaaS, Network as a Service. So how do we actually take our solution that was always industry leading and always geared towards partner enablement and make it even easier for Network as a Service? So to help me address that, I got three folks here. The first is actually Seema Kumar. She's Director of Product Management from our Cloud and Software Group. Seema, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, my pleasure. Then we have Mike Anderson. Mike is Senior Director for Partner Sales, and he actually helped kick off our Unified Service Management program, partner program, about a year ago. So, Mike, congrats on that, and
thank you,
and welcome to this.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and lastly, we have Sunalini Sankavaram. Sunalini is actually in the Cloud and Software Group, but also she hails from the AI-driven enterprise, and she's one of the lead product architects and product managers from that team. So we're really excited to have her to talk about the AI-driven enterprise.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Really excited to be here and share all the goodness we've developed that Mike's been asking for the longest time in what we call an AI-driven managed services dashboard. So
exactly. I'm laughing because Mike, Sunalini, and I go way back to the Mist days. So we're used to Mike asking for things all the time and getting excited when we actually deliver them. So here we go. So with that, Sunalini, why don't we start with you a little bit? Again, you've been a long time AI-driven enterprise. So why don't you talk a little bit about just touch on the platform a little bit, but more specifically, what did we announce this week?
Absolutely. Again, very exciting news. We've always talked about, from an AI-driven enterprise perspective, how our full stack solution, wireless wired WAN, is driven by AI to simplify network operations. We've essentially put that on steroids even for our MSPs. So typically when you look at MSPs, right, they're trying to make the complex simple for our customers. Our goal was, how do we make the complex simple for our MSPs as well to reduce their cost of ownership and operating a full stack network? So with that in mind, what we have done is truly brought Marvis, our virtual network assistant at the MSP level, so that Marvis can now help our MSPs troubleshoot issues and proactively notify them of issues impacting the end user experience. Again, it's always for us has been about measuring, monitoring, and self-driving a resolution to make sure that the end experience of an end user is always optimal. And that's exactly what we have now delivered as part of the new enhancements we brought to the product as our MSP dashboard. So we now have...
And for example, I know Sunalini, that dashboard is all about service levels, for example. So pulling out the service levels from, if you're a partner from different customers or from different locations, and having a one-stop shop to understand all those experiences, right?
Exactly. The single pane of glass for you to look at SLEs across wired, wireless, and WAN. So that's what we call our morning cup of coffee view, now available for our MSP operators as well, to make the operations much simpler than before. So.
Yeah. Okay. And so that, I know that's one of the things. And also Mike's going to talk about, in addition to MSPs, also resellers, traditional partners can also benefit from some of these tools. But shifting gears, I also know we launched some things around license management and also around some new flexible pricing. So why don't you talk to that a little bit too?
Sure. So again, as part of truly making the network operations easy, hand in hand with that goes the business operations aspect. And one of the key things there was, as an MSP, instead of having to place orders for hardware and subscriptions together per customer, MSPs now have the ability to basically buy a pool of subscriptions, make them portable across their customer tenants. So it really brings to life the whole ease of use, the ease of consumption, more like a pay-as-you-go model, as they onboard more and more customers to the network without having to worry about a one-to-one mapping of subscription to a customer.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine how that would scale tremendously and bring agility to the environment, which is really what NaaS is all about. And then last one, let's talk about some of the pricing options. I know Juniper Financial Services is partnering with you guys to make it even easier for our partners and end users to procure and operate. So if you can give a little insight into that, it'd be great.
A very little insight, but yes, when we talk about NaaS, there is the true NaaS, which has a managed services component, and we are looking for our MSPs, our partners, to provide the managed services aspect. But as part of the simplification, not only on the product side, but also from a financial aspect perspective. What we want to do and what we're actually doing as part of our NaaS offering is simplifying the model to make it a true OpEx model for our managed services partners as well as our resellers to consume. So we will now be able to give them a true predictable OpEx model with monthly billing for wireless, for wired, for WAN. They can wrap that into their managed service and offer a very simple offering to their customers. And we take the financial burden from them onto us so that they can sell more and focus more on the managed services side, while we as a vendor can take on the financial aspect of it and make it truly simple across the board, product and transactional.
Okay, awesome. So, Mike, you're the partner guy in this call. So, again, why don't you double click on some of the things Sunalini mentioned? As you said, there's definitely a managed services play here. There's also, I believe, a reseller play as well. So, how does this help our partners just deliver better services and continue to differentiate from some of their competition?
Sure. Thanks, Jeff. I think first, the new offering really means options and flexibilities to our partners to support their go-to-market. Each partner can have a unique go-to-market, and they demand the flexibility from their vendors like us to really deliver so they can excel to market and be successful. I do want to point out one thing. The industry analysts are stating that the consumption of network as a service is expected to grow dramatically over the next 5 to 6 years. In fact, if you look at the specific technologies of Wi-Fi as a service, security as a service, SD-WAN as a service, that collectively is expected to reach a $12 billion TAM with a 37% CAGR by 2026. That means opportunity, untapped opportunity. And what Juniper is now offering in conjunction with a second-to-none AI-powered cloud management platform, which Sunalini just eloquently described, Juniper can now help partners accelerate into these new markets with a flexible and nimble sourcing architecture. Whether the partners have an MSP GTM model where they are out there creating their own branded network as a service, or resellers who prefer to keep the more traditional motion of reselling services and product, the Juniper NaaS platform can now enable them to deliver a technology in a subscription architecture with the nimbleness that their customers demand.
Yeah, no, I think that's great points. As you mentioned, this is one of those things that I think the partners have been asking for a while, and I would argue that the timing is so perfect right now. Again, in terms of the market inflection points, the emergence of cloud and some of the ability to do that, and so it's really exciting to be able to take, as you said, a platform that already was leading the industry, just making it even easier for them to consume and differentiate. So it's extremely exciting. Seema, what's the long-term vision here? Obviously, what we announced is a great first step. We're planting the flag, particularly around aid. But maybe you could talk a little bit about, where we're going and where we see this, even longer term.
Yeah, of course. So Juniper's vision is to deliver our NaaS offerings, which are basically the integration of hardware, software, cloud subscriptions, the software licenses, and support services, everything packaged together. And we want to offer it across a broader portfolio, not just the AID portfolio, which obviously we are beginning with or starting with. Like Mike mentioned, there are all these untapped opportunities where we are in a great position to offer this flexible consumption or a subscription-based offer and allow our customers to pay as you go, pay as you grow, and our customers can consume the enterprise network infrastructure on as a subscription, as a service, be billed on a periodic basis, or be, they can just use it as an operational expense, which allows them to have sort of a predictable payment plan on the fixed term that we talked about, eliminate any budget uncertainty that they typically have, free up their capital, preserve their credit lines. A lot of good benefits that come out of this. And Juniper is, I think, has set the stage right in offering this, starting with our AID portfolio. So we are offering these several options to upgrade technology and refresh them as we go along using our as a subscription, as a service model.
Very cool. And Look, I mean, what I love about this is, we launched, our North Star not too long ago, which is all about experience first networking, right? And so it's not just about the end user experience, but it's also about the operator experience, right? And so this is just one additional way that we're just making it even easier to procure, to operate, to manage, to pay for the Juniper services. And so for that, I'm very excited. So thank you guys for joining me on this. I am sure our paths are going to cross again. As we said, this is just us dipping our toe into some of the NaaS offerings that are on the horizon. It's a pretty big dip in that it's it's obviously one of our marquee platforms and some pretty cool features that we're announcing here. But there's definitely more on the horizon. So folks, stay tuned, watch out in this space, and we'll be talking to you guys more about NaaS very soon. So Seema, Mike, Sunalini, thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.